Some Portland Marathon finishing folks and their ages. This is great. You can find this stuff online.
But not their gender.
Actually, it was broken down by gender. I didn't cross-reference it. I wanted to keep it a single variable, not double variable. Did you hear what Pat asked? This is a great statistical question, actually. He asked, but not by gender, did you? And I didn't. I didn't because I wanted to keep this single variable, not double variable. Instituting a male or a female makes it a 2x2 contingency table, and the variations have to be measured a different way when you do that.
Yeah.
And it's cool, it's great, but the trick is that it gets a little cumbersome at this stage in the game. I promise we will. I'm trying to keep it single variable for right now, just to get the idea of spread across. Measuring spread across two different characteristics can get a little bit tricky. Although it's totally doable statistically, and once you develop the idea of a z-score, it's a piece of cake. But I don't want to jump to that just to do that. But thank you. That is a great question. Do the ages change with gender? I have one suggestion. If anybody needs that like immediately for a research project in writing or speech or something like that, the conditional probabilities you just looked at in your first project are a great way of looking at that simply without variation. What's the chance they were under 34 given they were female and in the top 10? What's the chance they were over 65, given that they were male in the bottom 10 or something like that? You can totally do it just by counting once you have the data in a table. But that does ignore the variation. I'm sorry. I shouldn't answer the question. Sorry. No, we're not going to do that. Sorry, the more I answer that question, the more people shaking their head going like, what is he talking about? It's a great question. I mean, look, it's called data mining. Looking to see if there are any cool patterns that we might not be expecting. Like all the 15-year-olds had yellow shoelaces or something ridiculous like that. And you laugh, that's a silly example, but that's exactly what that movie Moneyball was about. If you've seen that movie or read that book. Anybody seen the movie or read the book? Right, the whole point of that was this general manager for a baseball team was able to recruit the most efficient players based on statistics that nobody else was using. I think it was, I'm gonna go back by memory here.
No,
I think it was like
ridiculous stuff.
Like number of times runs were batted in successfully with 2 men on was the best indicator of who you should hire. Like it was like some ridiculous stat that's like on the back of a baseball card that you ignore. But that particular one was highly correlated with good overall performance. Or something like that. It's something you wouldn't expect. And that's what data mining is all about. It's pretty rad actually when you start looking at those correlations. That's where technology really comes in handy. We don't have to data mine, though. I brought you the data. We don't have to worry about mining it. Here it is right in front of us. So what I want to do is, I want to deal with this data. Could you, if you would, enter all this into our TIs. Let's go the ages in L1. Let's go the number in the top in L2, and the number in the bottom in L3. So let's take some time. Pat, answer that question.
You're doing the ages. How would you?
Fantastic question just came up. What are we going to do with those ages, friends?
Average?
Yes, go in the middle. Because remember, the problem with giving you data like this is it's no longer raw, is it? Now it's grouped, which means we're a little less precise than if we were raw. But we still can do meaningful mathematics on it as long as we pick the middle wisely. So what's halfway between 15 and 24? Whatever it is, we're going to put that in there. Something 0.5, I think. We'll figure it out as we go. Okay? I'm going to shut this down so we can